This is Kutzach and Beis. This is probably the easiest one. Here again, he asks the question, why Dibur is so important. I'm sorry, why you have to have mitzvahs maisias. And he's going to say two things. Number one, mitzvahs maisias are so important because they're a keli for the hamshacha. Number two, that the need for the keli for hamshacha is only when you serve Hashem in a limited way. But if you serve Hashem in an infinite way, on Mesiras Nefesh, the Mesiras Nefesh becomes a kli, which you're also going to see at the beginning of the Yegeres HaKedesh on page Kuf Nun Hey, Lav Mashkas Vepi Yetz Chaim. So let's read it. It's a very easy one. Ayin Yetz Chaim Shal in the Kodesh Shalchas Perek Vav. She'ein achzoras ponim b'ponim. There's no yichud face to face from Zot to Malchus. Kima the mitzvahs maisi dafka have to do dafka physical mitzvahs. Why? V'tama. The reason is, Ka'idei ma'isem teiv, when you do good deeds, goyim zivuk ha'al yivachol, you create a union l'mayla. And when you have a union l'mayla, it comes back onto this world. Forget Rebbe why? Ulahavan amai maisi is dafka. Why is the yichud elyon dafka through mitzvahs maisi is dafka? So he answers. You'll explain to us what it says in the Cheshvan Rizal. One must first the nuk for the to ascend, to bring up is a ruzad latata from nuk for the which means of malchus. Man the nuk from bechinas asiyah. And it's a ruzad latata of man the nukva, man means the ruzad latata of malchus is asiyah k'meshkat Hashem perikam. If you want a zivig, so the nekeva, the female, has to go towards the male. The female is malchus, and she has to go towards the male. And what effect the female go towards the male? Dafka asiyah. V'hine hamaysim tevim nikra kisuach v'kitzutz haketzim. When you do a good deed, besides for the fact that you're raising up malchus, you're also being mavada. You're eliminating the klipa, the pselis, the thorns and the other obstacles, which hold on to the back. Which is madrega of asiyah. So first of all, you do a mitzvah maisias, you're raising up malchus. Second of all, you're also being mavada. You're fixing the nitzutus. Which means, in other words, you're mavada the aspects of sigim of of thorns which are involved in kedusha, and when you have added them, the nitzis alakus which is in those thorns also ascends upwards. Hamalubash mitzvahs ma'is which are invested in the physical deed, lemekeda the kedusha so atzilus shekvar hubrira, to its root and atzilus is already corrected and clear. So there's two miles in a mitzvah ma'is. First of all, you're making a thrusa latata from malchus, and second of all, you're mavaded, and that also goes up. And only then will there be a yichud. Only when you have a maisa and a beater will there be hamshachal ma'ila lamat. Mashakos of Shalom, when it's written over there, Sha'adem arishan tikin gam kiradei tefillah. The Adam Rishon was effective through davening. It says the Rebbe behind the Eitzis had dibur. It's after when he spoke words of davening in tefillah. Takim asafot of a maisa. Only when you do a physical act of speech is it a deed. Okay. This came from the animal soul in the body and his blood, which comes from the clip of nega. And when Adam davened, the fact that he spoke words affected that there should be a halah and hamshach. So he says a very big chiddush. Adam Rishon was able to mamshach eires also through asiyah. Now, last time I checked, Adam Rishon was before Matan Torah, before Bitla Gzeira. But the Rebbe says Adam's ability to be mamshach eires was because he made a halah of mais. And the same is true of us. V'hinei. Habirurim da asiyah elin li yitzira. The birurim that we achieve in asiyah go up to yitzira. Aidei shemban. Umi yitzira lebriya v'yitzira to briya or latzilus. K'mei shekaso v'shar man the rishirav simin zayin. And it says in the Cheshvan Rizal in a particular place. Okay? And this explains again why the hir le'yavid midi, thought alone accomplishes nothing. Which of course we had the exact same words, the hir le'yavid midi, near the top of page 306. It's a zehar. And the pshat of midi means kibali halas man memalachim shabadega. Without action, which lifts up malchus and is mavaded and therefore lifts up malchus, you can't bring down seeds to create a yichud in zun. Because naturally Zah would rather nurse from his mother. Zah, the masculine, would rather be his mother's son than his wife's husband. And not to give below. And therefore asiyah is necessary. When you do an act, you raise up malchus, you mavared, those two things, the fact that Zah should come down instead of going up. So this explains why you have to have Ma'aseh mitzvahs, because Ma'aseh mitzvahs are the kli and the bira which creates a kli for the Amshachah B'mayla Lamata. You got it?
Can you explain that thing? He'd rather be...
Zah would rather be his mother's son than his wife's husband. A makabel, which is bina, as
opposed to giving
to Malchus. And what makes him give is that the Malchus takes from him. You don't take from him, she has to make a clear yichud. The yichud is the mitzvahs, ma'asis, and the birurim. Verstehst? Frag the Alter Rebbe, it says in Zeh something else. There's a way of serving Hashem simply by looking at the Eibishter. And what does this mean? It's the kavanah of davening and supernal unions, who know and able to understand intellectually how to look at the Eibishter. So what's Alter Rebbe's kasha? The Zayah says that the Ikir is not Maaseh. The Ikir is Yichud. So what's the kasha? You were saying until now, I'm sorry? Right, that the Ikir is Maaseh, here it says Yichud. The teretz is as follows. You're talking about Yidden or Tzadikim. And there Allah's man was a Mesiras Nefesh, like it says in Kabbalah and Chassidus about the Ovis. When you're doing a Madrega Mesiras Nefesh, you know what the mitzvah Maaseh is? You. If you sacrifice yourself to the Eibishter, your goof is a Tzarus L'Tat. Ubemeli, you don't have to have a mitzvah Maaseh. And because of that, when a Yid is in a madrega of a spiritual mindset, a spiritual level, a spiritual locking in the inyan of Mesiras Nefesh, there's no need for shave. You don't have to have mitzvahs maisias. The Mesiras Nefesh alone is sufficient. But that's only if you're holding in that madrega.
Isn't that maisa itself?
In a different way, l'cheira.
And Mesiras Nefesh we mean.
No, the kavanah Mesiras Nefesh, not the pale mamish. The kavanah, the meditation of Mesiras Nefesh.
Cheshvan, example.
Right. But in that case, you don't have to have mice. When the kli, the ayat itself is itself a kli. So this against the Kaddish explains again the mila of maisa, because it's mavared and because it makes a kli and different. That's all.